guys, Miss Pullum here. Hope everybody's doing good and had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. We were in Florida and we had a great trip, and now we are back and ready to do the few weeks before winter break. This week we're going to be studying character traits. A character is going to be a person in our story, like we know. There's different types of characters. If every character had exactly the same character traits, it would be a boring story because the character traits are details that tell about the character's personalities. And when different characters in our stories have different personalities, that's what creates a fun story to read or an interesting story to read. We can identify character traits in two different ways. We can identify the physical character traits, so what somebody looks like, or we can describe them with their personality character traits. Okay, so we ask ourselves some different questions. We notice what a character looks like, how they act, what they say. So we can ask ourselves these 5 questions. What does the character do? So the action behind the character helps us know their personality trait or their physical trait. What does the character say? Okay, a lot of times we get through the dialogue between two characters the different ways a character acts. And that's going to tell you a specific character trait about that person, whether someone is very angry or someone is very calm and patient. Okay, another question we can ask ourselves is, how does the character feel? Because when a character feels a certain way, they're going to act a certain way. And that can come out in a different personality trait. What does a character think? Or how does the character change over the story? How are their character traits changing over the story? So we're going to practice this now. I'm going to scroll down here to my story. We are going to look at figuring out the characters. So for today, I'm going to read a few sentences from The Hunger Games, which is a novel by Suzanne Collins. Then we're going to work together to fill in the character trait chart and what evidence we can pull from the passage to put right here that's going to back up that character trait that we chose. We have a word bank here of examples of character traits that we can pull from as well. Okay, she's the 12-year-old, the one who reminded me so of prim in stature. Up close, she looks about 10. She has bright, dark eyes and satiny brown skin and stands tilted up on her toes with arms slightly extended to her sides, as if ready to take wing at the slightest sound. It's impossible not to think of a bird. Okay, so right here where it says she's the 12-year-old, the one who reminded me so of prim in stature, but then the author says up close she looks about 10. So a character trait that would come to mind first is going to be young. Young. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here to fill in my chart. I would say that she is young, okay? And now over here on this part, it's my evidence from the passage. So I am going to put it in quotation marks because I am pulling the exact words that the author used. So one character trait that I know she has is young because she's the 12-year-old. She looks about 10, okay? Another character trait that I could use would be beautiful. Okay, I can infer this because the author used the words, and I'm going to put it in for my evidence, is she has bright, dark eyes and satiny brown skin. Okay, this word that we're going to use here, whimsical. Whimsical, stands tilted up on her toes with arms slightly extended to her sides as if ready to take flight. Okay, so you may have different character traits that you pulled from those sentences, and that's okay because we can all our answers may vary a little bit, but when we're pulling evidence right from the passage and the text to be able to support our character trait, that's how we know that we are right and that we can't really go wrong with what we've picked. If you pick a character trait and you cannot back it up with evidence from the passage, then you need to pick a different character trait. Maybe that's not the best way to describe that specific character. All right, we're going to look down here at one more, The Bone Shaker by Cherie Priest. Without the coat, her body had a lean look to it, as if she worked too long and ate too little or too poorly. Her gloves and tall brown boots were caked with the filth of the plant, and she was wearing pants like a man. Her long dark hair was piled up and back, but 2 shifts of labor had picked it apart, and heavy strands had scattered, escaping the combs she'd used to hold it aloft. Okay. All right. So the character traits that I came up with here are thin. Okay. And my evidence is without the coat, her body had a lean look to it. Poor. I know this because her gloves and tall brown boots were caked with the filth of the plant like a man. She works too much in a factory. Hardworking. 2 shifts of labor had picked it apart. So normally we do 1 shift of labor out a day. So if somebody's pulling 2 shifts, that means they're working double the amount that they normally work. So we know that this character is hardworking. Disheveled. Okay, if they have a disheveled appearance. Okay, I know that by heavy strands had scattered, escaping the combs she'd used to hold it all aloft. Okay, so her hair was disheveled. Heavy strands had scattered. Okay, so that's it on character traits, guys. Now for today's assignment, you're gonna log in with Google on the next slide with some boom cards, and they're gonna give you a couple sentences, and you're going to pick which character trait would best describe that character based on the sentences that you are reading on that slide. All right. Talk to you later.